Well, hello and welcome. I'm Peasant, and I'm back with another voiceover over recording. So let me know what you think of this format. This is the second one I've done. I probably won't do any more till I've got the okay from you. So your voice counts. Anyway, what we've got here is we've got a England 5, a Serpent England 5 on West encounter, the one that was part of the thematic roundabout, and this is a commentated one. So I've been practicing this one a bit. This is a rough matchup. My win rate of this is something like 30%, something in that ballpark. So yeah, rough. But wetland explore. This the west is interesting. You've just got the one wetland. I find myself just bunching things up in that wetland quite a lot. This is far from a flawless run. Just warn you now. Warn you now. I have favoured going for an early minor rather than a turn one major though. Just finding it helpful. Not sure whether this is good or whether this is just coincidence. But like when I was practicing my Thunder Speaker and found turn one reclaim actually had better results for me for a while. But there is some randomness in this game. So yeah, fairly standard start, going with the kind of somewhat unnecessary flowing power. The trouble with England 5 is that their towns have got that extra health. So that trick actually makes a lot of sense on towns that don't have the extra health. But typically, I think the first few turns, you really want to be just reclaiming and placing presence quite a lot, because I think it's worth powering up your snakeness. There's a fair amount of brinksmanship, because you don't really want to have less than 3 presence on the island, in case when the island blights, you are in a situation where you have to die. Well, you have to lose. Yeah, you don't want that. You want to make sure you got at least 2 if the island's going to blight that turn. This was actually a bit of a rough pick, and I'm glad that I wasn't relying on this slot for anything. Yeah, I can't think that any of these are particularly good for me. I quite liked the fact that Avengers of the Dead had Moon and Fire on it. Yeah, so I kind of, in the end, I think I went with Power Storm for Wombo potential. Hard to resist. I did get rid of Gift of Flowing Power, which I might have been a mistake. I think a lot of people like to get rid of Gift of Primordial Deeps, and I kind of, I can see why. You might want to do that. I get it. Seems a bit wasteful to use Aegis just for a single defend, but it's fine. No need to worry. We get to Brendan. I really like Rights of the Land's Rejection. I don't know if it's a particularly good one for this spirit, but and we get to transmute Worst of the Species. I think I always do that if I can. Yeah, and it was nice to be able to discard Gift of the Primordial Deeps for that. Lovely stuff. You typically, I think your standard turn is place presence reclaim, so you don't really care about discarding your cards that much. So I tried to squeak out a little bit more, but the relocating your presence is also super handy a lot of the time. Getting your Aegis where you want it. Yeah, so that central cluster of jungles can be a pain, but the deserts are even worse, especially from Snake's point of view. At least the jungles, you can defend them all with a single Aegis, but there's the desert all the way over there, the interior desert, which is not so cooperative. You've got the lovely expanse of beaches, which are awkward to defend, but the kids love them. So yeah, not much point trying to press forward there. I think once you get to the reclaim 1 spot on your tracks, you can be a bit jazzier with all this, and we'll see some of that later, I think. Yeah, very easy. I've made some errors recently. The classic destroying your own sacred site error is one that I have been making lately. It bugs me. It's one of those errors where you're playing with the physical copy, you just go, oh yeah, I just won't do that. But when you've made card choices and stuff, you then put in an awkward situation here. So yeah, it's nice with the reclaim option to move your presence, because you've kind of got the option of making sacred sites, but it's quite easy to forget. It's easy to forget. The key thing that I feel like I've learned recently about using Serpent is the Absorb Essence basically is a way of getting 2 mountains off one card, which is then the 3 damage in with your presence, which is enough to kill a England 5 town or a city against less degenerate adversaries. And Fortification, you never really want to see that. You don't want to see that. Because it's more builds on the board. Getting a bit greedy there, hoping to destroy a town. Okay, and then what's actually going on here? What's actually going on? So yeah, I got very lucky there. That extra strife, meaning that I stayed blight free in there on that coastal jungle. That's certainly lucky. But don't worry, I make up for my good luck with blunders. It's, you know, nice to get a good blunder in. But yeah, Serpent rounds the anger, very nice. You always want to get the 2 moons, 2 mountains as well. That's a lot of fear. It's 2 fear, which is more than 1, less than 3. She's struggling to follow exactly what what's going on in my head right now with this. So we've got Sand Ravage, and it does look a bit horrible. Well, we can defend 2 of them and still have a healthy island, just using. We can't get to our reclaim 1, so we are going to be forced to reclaim. I think preventing 2 blight going down is pretty worthwhile. It's pretty worthwhile. I think at this point I might have thought I had my reclaim 1. Or no, I can't have done. Okay, fine. Get your facts right. So it's going to be half an hour me berating myself, while a more skillful, less tired peasant is being a big brainer in the background. Possibly not. So yeah, very straightforward, classical. The Absorb, the Aegis. So yeah, I'm going to want to leave. Oh, okay. I think I destroyed the wrong presence there. Oh no, I can still clear out the desert. The thing is that the wetland, the single wetland, you could just leave. That can be really bad. It doesn't matter. Because, you know, what's the worst it's going to do? It's just going to put 1 blight, maybe 2. Whereas your jungles or your deserts have got the potential to just ruin everything. I feel like I have been playing quite a lot on the thematics and getting used to the quirks of them. And I really like how you feel a bit more like you are on an island. You know, it's because the jungles are all kind of clumps, you know. It makes sense. They're pretty clumpy. Yeah, I don't think this decision I'm making here, I actually had any rationale for it. I think it was pure guts. And I was thinking about that, and I think I would have been better off having a cluster of 4 in with my presence, because there are some effects that reward you for having at least 3 Dahan in with your presence. So yeah, 2 blight in that ravage, and now the trouble is we're worried about the England loss condition, getting to 7 buildings in 1 land. So if some of the stuff that I'm doing seems a bit odd, it's because I'm thinking about that. Though actually pushing those Dahan might have been more useful in conjunction with Rites of the Land's Rejection, actually. Because I could have been using them for that, though I'm pretty low on presence on the map. So yeah, tricky. We've got a nice little rouse though. We'll be able to destroy a town. And so the extra, you can just give yourself the pip to get you a plant for a bit more energy. Even though it does look like I've got a lot of energy, it's you know, it goes quick. We've somehow got to Terra 2. And we're back to growth. So yeah, this is a bit of a horrible collection of ravages. 9 damage in the top jungle, 4 in the east, and then 13 in the one underneath. Don't know why I zoomed in there. And we don't have a whole ton of fear cards or anything. And I need to be thinking that that next level 2 invader card is probably an escalation effect, which will mean that the jungle bumps up to 6 buildings, which then means, yeah, that's a problem that needs to be dealt with. I can't just leave it. I can't just leave it, Ricky. I've got to keep on working at it. But I also am aware that I don't really have any... I need to draw some solutions. Power Storm doesn't do a whole lot on its own. Unlikely for me to be able to wombo out with without something to wombo with. So looking for Bride of Wombostein. This is an interesting decision. At first I was thinking Nightmares. I could use Nightmares to kind of clear out and push away. And I think I spent quite a while thinking about this. Because you can kind of break up the London, the big cluster. But actually, so I think I might have even chosen it and then undone, gone backwards and forwards a little bit. Yeah, Unlock as well is one of those things that's kind of tempting. And looking at it now, actually, Power Storm Unlock is kind of interesting because we've got Moon, Fire, Water, Air. I mean, we're not far off getting the Unlock combo, which with Power Storm would be pretty ridiculous, potentially, especially if we get, you know, a growth major in there or something like that that will accelerate us. Yeah, big. I think I also got slightly confused with Terrifying Nightmares because I thought I might have been able to easily get its threshold, but no is the answer there. Because I start with I've got a Moon on my track and an Any, but getting that third one, so the fourth that I need for threshold isn't quite so straightforward. But the nice thing, I mean, the trouble is here that all my mages are kind of utility or defensive. Though Winds of Rust is, you know, it's an incredible major who is mostly happy to see. Though getting the actual threshold for the repeat on it is arduous. Unless you've got Rain of Blood, in which case, you know, well done. You've drafted the best minor power. There you go. Let's just add in some not very friendly commentary. The Rain of Blood has the water and the beast element on it, which is a kind of unusual combo. Partly, I think, because early cards from the base game kind of had some ideas about clustering of elements. So you've got certain relatively common combos like Moon and Fire, I think. So I have to actually forced to double Aegis here for a 10 defend, which does mostly help me. I have no sacred sites other than this when this popped up, if I remember rightly. But it does remove a blight from the card, which is pretty horrible. Because it means that the island just blights, and that's that. And then Paul upon a land. I mean, if I'd got Tipping Point, I would have just lost. Tipping Point is a real spoil your day ray of a card for this spirit in particular, because it's unusual that you have more than 3 presence until like the late game. But it's unusual that you get to the late game without the island being blighted. So, well, certainly on this difficulty. Oh yeah, while I'm here, give a quick name check to Kaylin Noreth, who does speedrun guides. Super interesting. Even if you're not a speedrunner yourself, definitely check their channel out. Give them a sub. Encourage them. They're probably my favourite Spirit Island videos to watch. Apart from my own, of course. I spend all day watching them, rewatching them, learning the wisdom. But yeah, definitely check out Kaylin Norris videos. Also, being speedrun guides, nice and short. You like to just like squeak in a video somewhere. I think at the moment might be the best kept secret in Spirit Island content creation. Anyway, that's enough banging on about that. I should be commentating this game here. Yeah, more problems on the coast, and yeah, this is a bit gross. The thing is, I do have winds, so I can use that to kind of knock down to turn a town into an explorer, which basically for England's additional loss condition, it means that you don't lose, which is nice, because that's the escalation effect on that. It's 50-50. It could be coastal lands, or it could be a something with an escalation effect. Or would it be sand with an escalation effect? Honestly, either of them are pretty horrible, given the build up of things there. But the 50% chance of just losing is too high. I think you have to accept that there's a good chance you're going to lose to Tipping Point, which is the one that the Blight card that just costs you three presents. And this is not a matchup that I feel like, this is like, I don't know, a 30% win rate matchup for me. I mean, I'm still feel like I'm feeling my way with this spirit. Key thing as well with wins, you need to make sure you've got a sacred site somewhere. It's very easy to mess that up. And that's actually quite a common way for me when I'm recording a game as I'm playing it, and I get a loss. Often it's because I've forgotten something like that, and it doesn't feel like a good playthrough. So yeah, big decision here. There's actually only 2 blight on the map, and I think I spent a while being puzzled about that, because we did have a blight removed from the event earlier. So yeah, kind of my natural love of land thrashes had to give way to the hard reality of tsunami, and the fact that actually it's very easy to get threshold with tsunami for snake. I mean, you even got a water and a mountain just on your board, and an any, so you don't even need to play anything with it particularly. But the first thing I have to do is make sure I don't lose. Yeah, I mean, maybe I would have been better off. Yeah, see, I don't have the mountains for the threshold here. I might have been better off going with a tsunami this turn. But as you'll notice, my energy situation is not perfect. So yeah, first thing I have to do is make sure I don't lose. Well, remove the 50% chance of just losing, and then that's actually just a nice bonus because it's just a one more blight that we can keep, and a presence as well that we can kind of keep on the board. Except we don't get to because the event card wrecks us. And then, oh no, the fear card saves us. Oh, the ups and downs. And we do get to remove an explorer or a town. And against England, you've just got to keep on, shaving them back. They're like an endless regrowing kebab stick. Those big kind of towers of grease and scrapings that you have in kebab shops. They're like that. You just got to keep on shaving away. And then just like slather them in mayonnaise to make them edible. And the wetland ravage, so we kind of the fear card helped us. I mean, if that fear card hadn't cropped up, we would have had a blightfall there, which would have been sad. That's our only sacred site. We would not have been very happy about that. So what have we got here? We've actually got kind of what I'd call a turn off. We've got a ravage, and the crucial thing is we're now at stage 3. So the escalation effect of building in the land with most buildings no longer applies, which is kind of, for me, that's a good sign. Gives you a lot more freedom. And we're also at the point where tsunami doesn't need any supporting cards to get the threshold. So we've kind of got a really nice turn here. I can't remember exactly how I did it. So yeah, as you can see, water and earth on the tracks, and then an any for another water. But most of our cards have got water on anyway. But what does he do? Oh yeah, so I think at that point I was just double checking. I could see that this is a pretty clutch moment. Because I mean, it feels like I do have the ingredients here for a good good situation. I guess I might be contemplating the reclaim. Hard to know. Hard to know. Because, yeah, we just don't... There's no ravages that matter here. There's a single mountain ravage that we don't care about. Wow, took energy. Crikey. That's a surprise. I guess, actually, no, the energy means I can afford to, yeah, take wins. Yeah, look at that. Nice. Wow, what a play. I've got to choose my any here. I've already got the threshold for tsunami. I'm assuming I'm going to go moon just for the extra fear. In Serpent rouses some anger. The fire isn't worth it because our Serpent rounds only targets buildings. So, and English buildings are you know, they're all extra tough. So yeah, we can. Oh, that's what I was doing. So yeah, I mean, 3 blight is a lot of blight to have. Years of Little Rain is a no-brainer if you have Dahan in with your presence. And I am starting to, as I get to know the event deck a bit more consciously, I am kind of doing things like trying to make sure I've got Dahan in with my presence, or clustering my Dahan certainly. But yeah, this is actually really helpful. Because it means that I have some actual energy next turn and plays. So it's a pretty big thing. I wonder... and it didn't really cost me much either. I realise, and the thing I'm kind of checking there is that I might want to try and do a turn where I'm double reclaiming and gaining energy off the track instead of reclaiming all. I do try and be efficient with stuff like that. And does sometimes make the difference. And sometimes it's meaningless. Okay, and then Years of Little does have an extra beast damage effect. I think this here is actually a slight inaccuracy, actually. Because... Oh no, it's not actually an inaccuracy because I've only got 1 extra damage in that land with my Serpent Rouses that will happen later on. So fear card, chance to prune the metropolis. But yeah, it's kind of scary. Kind of scary what's going on the coast, but tsunami time. And of course, I'm going to use the first hit on the one with the most buildings on. Especially as there's going to be a build there next turn. I think I will, yeah, probably just checking my numbers. Probably just doing that. And just the way that the maths work out, especially with the extra health on the cities, it makes sense to kill 2 cities, then kill a city in each other coastal land. For a lot of fear. A lot of fear. But it is still really close. I do have 3 blight left on my card, but you'll notice that that's not a lot, given that we've got a coastal ravage next turn. We don't have to worry so much about London now, which is something. But if that ravage, that's 4 blight worth of ravage that could come down, and that's more than 3. And you don't, with events in the game, you don't really want to sit on 1 blight. You will be punished. You will often be punished, not always. We do have 4 Terror level 3 fear cards though, which can do a lot, but sometimes, yes, sometimes your mileage may vary with how useful they are. But yeah, where are we now? So not much fear till the win, but none of it's fast. We don't really have any fast fear that we can rely on here. A tiny smidgen from Winds of Rust. Though wait a second, was there a cheeky way I could? No, too many cities to poke them with Winds of Rust. That can be quite a nice little trick. If you're at Terra 3, to just cheekily turn any cities into towns. But yeah, there's tons of cities. Because I can get Threshold and Tsunami just on my tracks, I know that if I can just budget well for my turn, budget my turn well enough that I can play Tsunami in addition to not losing to the Ravage, then I'm good. And of course, we do have 4 plays now, which hopefully would mean that I can get some stuff done. And the energy looks horrible, but my next energy gain thing on the track is the 6 energy one. So that means I'd have 9 energy to play with. Wow, what am I doing over there? Doing something funky. Oh yeah, planning an Aegis by the looks of things. And that 6 energy there would mean that I could potentially Aegis and... Did I double Aegis? God, I can't even remember. Can't even remember. It's lost to time now. Except for this recording. So what is that Coastal Ravage? It's 6 in the top. That's quite doable. And then down there we've got a number. 10 damage. God, did I double Aegis? Oh wow, I just got my winds out. I'm just thinking about it, but I don't think I've got the elements to get a repeat on there. It's a really awkward one to get. Outside of having Rain of Blood, which has what you want. And the power of winds is partly why Rain of Blood's so good. Because the trouble is that if I just defend, then I'm not winning, right? Because after this we've got Jungle Sand builds, and then we've got a truly horrible Jungle Sand Ravage, which would be a Ravage in 7 territories on the board, which is a lot of territories. A crushing number of territories. But the thing is, there aren't many cards left in the fear deck. We've got potential to score a chunk of fear. Just if I point at the Tsunami enough times, then I can afford to play it, right? That's how it works. That's how it works. Ooh, look at that. What's he doing? Mad lad. And maybe I'm going to check how many pips of Essence of Absorb. So 3 pips. So that each Aegis is worth 5 defend. So if I do an Aegis in that central coastal desert, it should work at the top. But it won't cover anything else. Which is not enough to win, but I do have 4 Terra level 3 cards there. So yeah, I don't think the absence of fast fear is why this is a big decision, and why I'm just going backwards and forwards. And this was recorded with the intention that I would do a voiceover if it was a good game. So I'm not deliberately just taking ages here. Okay, he's gone. He's gone for it. I wonder if I undo here. So I get to absorb, which does buff the Aegis, crucially. And it gets me another fight, which is enough to destroy that inland desert city. I remember that now. Or that city that's not on the coast, that's by the coast. We can Aegis in there for 6. So that actually only fully defends at 1. Oh, and here we go. Big reprieve. Farmers seek Dahan for end, which is the nightmare against France 6 all of a sudden. Next Ravage becomes a build. And that's all she wrote. We'll take a peep at our fear cards and see if they would have helped. Actually, that might be worth knowing. So yeah, we've gone for Teach. It just doesn't really matter where we put this. But basically the Farmer's Seek has saved the day. But possibly the fear cards might have done. And I'm working out what to destroy here. Possibly not an important decision. I guess that disease there does prevent a build. So skip the next normal build. See, that doesn't help. Skip the build. Does this next one help? Defend 3 in all lands. actually not very relevant. I don't think. Actually going to pause the video here. Oh, I'm going to pause it at a bad moment. Let's try and pause it at a better moment. So we're up. So this is fine. What about in here? That's 14 damage. That's not defended. And then down here, 10. It is defended down there. So that actual. So the fear card did help us down here. What's that? So that's. Yeah, that fear card actually was the difference in the end. Lost my mouse. So, but yeah, it was kind of clutch, and so we would have just scraped by without the help of the farmers. But instead we had the build. Now you can see that's also still pretty gross, and that coastal jungle is now back up to 6 buildings. But it's okay. We're into the slow phase. We can breathe. We can do our tsunami. And that should be a boat ton of fear. It shouldn't matter where I aim it, I don't think. Just got to make sure I click correctly now. So, yeah, very, very nice to be able to pull off a tsunami with Threshold. Very nice. Love to see it. Poetry in motion. Yeah, so yeah, it was a win in the end, but this is not one that I have a good win rate on. I think I probably should record it actually. Maybe I'll start doing that. But I don't really record my digital games, as in win rates and stuff. But yeah, then we did get the magic number that a lot of people on Twitch enjoy seeing. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you like the video, like the video. And yeah, let me know what you think of this particular format. I think it could quite suit the high difficulty matches, and maybe the commentary may be better, but it might also be worse, or certainly is different anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.